welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Omar. If you're new here, hit the sub button down below. And I want to thank my two guests so very much for joining me today. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, Josh?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having us.
Do check their stuff down below. Both their Twitter and YouTube channel links will be in the description down below. So let's get this started. Before tonight's one, which was huge, it took a lot of the negative energy out that I was feeling towards the franchise at the moment, especially the recent injury losses. Put it all together, whatever you want to call it, the fan base not showing up at all to certain things. It's being disrespectful to the past and management on certain things. But tonight was a huge win. What did you guys think this win really does for this team?
I just think it helps boost the confidence back up a little bit. I mean, it's only the fifth win. You're still 5-18. But getting Cole back obviously is really big. It sucks that, you still have guys like Markelle and J.I. out, and now we just lost Jalen. But yeah, I don't think it does too much for them other than just kind of reinstill confidence that when they play the right way, the team can be really good and have success. And then just in terms of fans, I mean, it's just like, we can all just kind of take a breath. Like losing 7 games in a row, most of those being blowouts, playing against a really good team, that's missing a lot of people, obviously, but they're going to be a playoff team, regardless. They've got one of the best players in the league in Nikola Jokic. So, just good to get a win and just help the guys, build some confidence.
Yeah, it was definitely a great win. I mean, there's been so much losing this season, and I think so many people expected it, but because of injuries and everything, it's just made losing that much worse, especially with the blowout losses. But again, like Jonathan said, it's all about the confidence. They have what it takes to win. Even against the Nuggets team, yeah, they're missing Jamal Murray, but we're missing a lot of guys too. And because they played the right way, they won, which is how it's been for the other wins too. You play the right way, you have a good chance at winning. It doesn't matter who you're versing, as long as you play the right way, you have a chance.
Okay, yeah. So I was the idiot before the season began, and I was reading into statements of J.I. saying if it was up to him, he would be ready by day one. Hearing statements that Markelle might be ready by the opener. And I was at the beginning of the schedule. I'm like, well, New York will take time to get ready. We play San Antonio twice early. There's a chance we're semi-competitive. The complete opposite happens. Everyone's getting hurt again, which is completely frustrating. We're 5-18. 5-18. Playing tournament is probably out of the question. But I'm not going to sit here and be upset with injuries because it happens. Most of them are freak injuries. The Jalen one specifically, most recent, you get slapped across the hand. There's nothing really much you can do about it. But I'm going to say this. If the management are over-exaggerating injuries from the beginning in order just to tank, it's a very, very bad decision, in my opinion, to go down that route. Because if you look at it, no one's saying there's a setback with J.I., but it's mind-boggling to think that someone who tore the ACL 5-6 months after you is going to beat you to the court. Something has to be off, right?
I don't know. Jeff Weltman spoke with the media the other day, and I think there was a missed opportunity by, the folks gathered there at the media scrum to just ask Weltman directly, like, has J.I. had a setback at all in his rehab? Jeff Weltman multiple times speaking with the media about Markelle and Jonathan's rehab. In the past, he's mentioned, these guys are progressing well. They haven't had any setbacks. So it's not something that he, hadn't divulged in the past. So I don't think it would be kind of stepping over any type of boundaries to ask that question directly. But what Jeff did say is because of Jonathan's, kind of injury history, they've been building his entire body like from the ground up. So I believe each injury that he's had so far, especially the ACL and, the knee sprain to the left, the left leg. And I believe the ankle sprain that he had his rookie year that sidelined him for most of that year was to the left side as well. So there's, a lot of science that says that can speak more to imbalances, in his body and, his balance. So building things up like the strength in his legs and his hips, building his core, working on his, stabilization and, his balance and everything like that. The hope is, I believe, that when he comes back, he's going to be back for good. If you remember, Steph Curry had tons of ankle issues his first few years in the league and worked with a physical trainer literally to retrain his body in the way that it moved, so that he was more so loading his hips instead of his ankles when he was making certain moves on the basketball court. And that's changed his career. Steph Curry would not be the same player that he is now if it wasn't for those adjustments that he's made. So I do think it is fair to ask if there has been a setback. I don't know that we can say that for certain. I would like to think that the franchise would just come out and tell us if that were the case. But I do think there is room for Jeff Weltman's explanation in terms of them building Jonathan's entire body back up. I do think that leaves room for the lengthy return that we've seen.
I mean, I just feel like it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was great to finally hear from Jeff Weltman about the recovery process of Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz. He didn't really talk about MCW, but so I'm kind of worried there because we didn't hear anything. But it was great to hear Markelle. He's progressing well. He's going to be practicing with the G League team. So, I mean, that's great because we've seen Klay Thompson practice with their G League team, and that's been really helpful. So knowing that Markelle's really close to his return, that's great to hear. With Jonathan Isaac, I mean, he was really vague. And again, we're all thinking, well, there might have been a setback, but I don't understand why he doesn't just come out and say that. Because if the second Klay Thompson had a setback, we heard about it like minutes after, seconds after. And I know like this front office has a reputation of being secretive. So I'm guessing Woj or Shams just couldn't get that information. But I feel like you owe it to the fans. Again, you're not putting a timetable. You're just explaining what happened to J.I. Because we know his injury passed. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but you can't like just give updates about how he really is doing, because we hear it all the time. Oh, well, he's doing great in his rehab process, man. That's great. But we kind of want just a little bit more details. You don't need to put a timetable for an exact timeline or anything. Just tell us what's going on with J.I. Because for Markelle to return before J.I., that's, again, like you said, mind-boggling. I don't know how to put it, because all we want to do is see this young team play together. And I'm not saying what that means to rush their recovery process. No, we just want to know when we can expect to have them back. And now Jalen Suggs gets injured, and I don't know what to say, because the other night I got emotional. I started like tearing up. I'm like, you can't make this up. How many injuries does this team have to deal with, especially over these recent years? Man, like I had to talk to my youth pastor. I'm like, can you help me explain like why this happened? Like God, like this is not possible.
My God.
Like no, like I was shocked. Because we always see Jalen hold his hand at some point again, and you're like, well, he's good after that. But this time it was different. And now, like, grateful he doesn't need surgery, but he's still going to be out for at least a month. So, yeah, I would like more information, I guess.
I was looking into it, and the last time that we basically had everyone healthy was December of 2019. I think it was about a week before Jonathan Isaac was hurt New Year's Day in Washington, but Aaron Gordon had been dealing with like Achilles pain or Achilles discomfort, and basically said, you know what, I'm going to shut it down for a little bit and get this right. And then, a few days or a week later, Jonathan Isaac has the knee sprain, in Washington. And then everything has just been downhill literally since then. So we're almost at the 2-year point where someone's been hurt like the entire time.
Yeah, and it's even more frustrating because when you have wins like we had tonight, and the young guys are playing with Wendell Carter, Bamba making key blocks, Franz Wagner taking over games, that's when you're like, well, when the team's fully healthy, we could do some things, and that's the one reason we really can't question the front office that much, because they've been great ever since they got here, and it's tough to like really poke at them and be like, yo, what's up? What's happening here? Why isn't something like, where's the information at? It's like, well, they haven't burned us yet, like the previous management did. So it's really hard to.
He doesn't even want to say Rob Hennigan's name. He do not invoke really that name.
And I think only
in Henny we trust, baby.
I didn't want to really say his
I have
name.
so many of those tweets, hashtag in Henny we trust. So many of them floating around Twitter.
Yeah. And then it's even, and I really think John Hammond got banned from speaking about injuries the moment he said the Markelle statement.
Possible.
And then, so just moving on from like the current team, it's there's also been an issue with the culture of really the fan base that really tend the game, because if you at this point in time, even when they were even semi-competitive, if you sat upper bowl, the energy was whack. Or the energy is whack if you said upper bowl. And then the lower bowl, if we're being kind, it's 50-50 between whoever we're playing, especially we're playing a great team like the Heat, the Lakers, the Knicks, whatsoever. It's never really a home game. And then you experienced it in person when we had the Vucevic ceremony. The fan base wasn't there. And it's really frustrating because it's not like, because it really hit home with me that my friend was in Memphis for work. He had a Grizzlies game. Grizzlies are a good team. They played Denver, and everybody get lower bowl seats for $20, which is what they're selling them for. But then if you have a bad team, even if the young extent which they are, if they're bad, and you're taxing on those tickets, and then the energy's bad, I don't think it's really like a recipe for success if that's the energy that's being built for home fans. And then a lot of people had issues with road trip instead to start the year before the year started, on how you'll be able to name all the Magic fans by my name. A lot of us had issues with it, but they're looking right about now.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've been complaining about the amount of fans at games and the fans that do show up, not cheering and not being into the game. I've been complaining about that since I've been going to Magic games. So I grew up on the west coast of Florida and closer to Tampa, and we just really couldn't afford to go to Magic games as a kid. So I didn't go to my first Magic game until I was 18 years old. And my girlfriend actually who's now my wife, bought me my first tickets to go see a Magic game. It was the LeBron James Heat back in 2013 when they went on that 27 game winning streak. I was at the 27th game. They beat the Magic, and then they lost the next game in Chicago. So that was my first ever game. But I've been complaining about that ever since I've been going to Magic games. I remember the year where Tobias Harris, when we beat the Thunder on the game-winning dunk on a Friday, Oklahoma City was the number one team in the West at that time. And then on Sunday, we played the Indiana Pacers, who at the time were the number one team in the East and were the number one team in the NBA. And it's a close game with 2 minutes to go. I'm sitting in, I think it was, we might have been sitting in the upper bowl, or no, I think we were in the lower bowl. We were like upper lower bowl. Yeah. And I'm on my feet screaming and cheering. And I've got season ticket holders. You see the pass around their neck, yelling at me to sit down. It's like a 3-point game with 2 minutes to go. I'm like, if this isn't the time to stand, when am I supposed to stand? And I've just had way too many experiences at Amway of the crowd just not getting behind the team. And I'm not a fair weather fan by any means. I believe if you're a fan of a team, you're a fan when they're good, you're a fan when they're bad. You cheer as loud as you can when they're good. You cheer as loud as you can when they're bad. Now, in the middle of like a 35-point blowout loss in the third quarter, like there's a picture of me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm just pissed.
That is a sick pick, though.
Yeah, you can just tell I'm not happy about what's going on. So I get that, but like the beginning of the game, people aren't, they're not in their seats. They're not getting to the game on time. I've never not been in my seat like when the ball is being tipped, like just never. So I don't understand that. I don't understand not cheering. I have so many thoughts about this. I could go on and on and on. The fact that, Nick Anderson still holds a ton of records for the Magic. And the fact that he's not mobbed anytime he walks around the Amway Center, I don't understand that. The fact that our co-founder, Pat Williams, there literally would not be a team in Orlando if it was not for Pat Williams. The fact that he can walk around the arena and people just walk past him like they don't know who he is, because they don't know who he is, because they don't care about the history of the team. The fact opening night, Tracy McGrady is sitting courtside, is showed on the video board, gets golf claps. Like, people do not care. Nikola Vucevic, all-time field goal leader in Orlando Magic history, comes back after playing 9 years. And I would say like 20% of fans stood and cheered for him, after his tribute. It's just really discouraging. Omar, you talked about it. It's an issue with the fan culture. It is my life's mission to change that. But I think we need the organization's help. Until the organization really cares about cultivating a hardcore, diehard fan base, it's just always going to be people that are there for a night out, for a social experience. It's always going to be tourists. Until you try to reach out into the city and bring in new diehard fans, it's always going to be like this. I'm sorry for ranting. My good friend Josh, what are your thoughts?
If you remember last Wednesday, we versed the Hornets. Wendell Carter Jr. had a poster dunk, and I'm going crazy. And I'm looking like just in the video on my like screen of the fans they're showing, and like nobody's getting up. And I'm like, hey, bro, this guy had a nice poster. Like, I mean, of course the bench is going crazy, but like, there's nobody in the arena who's like. There were some people courtside that were like hyped. There are people in the arena who get hyped for plays like that, but I'm like, everyone should be getting hyped. Like this guy just posted something, and it's been like that for years. You know, like I think it was last year or the year before, Aaron Gordon had a nice poster dunk over somebody over OKC. And like, again, the crowd was just dead silent. I'm like, yo, you're this has to be a joke. Because when we were in the playoffs in 2019, when they showed Jameer Nelson on that, like I think Jameer was at the game. Everyone was going crazy.
Before the
like,
game.
So you're only gonna be there what when we're winning, when we're at our best, because you clearly weren't there when we were at our worst. And I can still remember in 2013. Yeah,
that playoff game, it wasn't loud for the full 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we were losing for a good part of that second half. I will say, I've been.
Though.
I remember game 3 being close.
So
they
came
three,
back.
Yeah.
They came back. Yeah. They came back towards the end.
They didn't call the travel on Siakam though.
That game was not always close. Vooch got it going, I think, in the third quarter.
Right.
And then Evan Fournier, I believe, either
fourth,
tied it or finally hit a three. Started the game like 0 of 7 from 3, something crazy like that. And that place was as loud as any building I've ever been in. I was
T. Ross buzzer beater at half court. That was sick. Too.
Yes.
I had to get people going.
Yeah, the arena.
I was at Amalie Arena. I think it was 2017 or 2018 when they played the Washington Capitals in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Amway Game 3 against the Raptors, like during that comeback in the second half, was every bit as loud as Amalie was at that game. And the Lightning have a great fan base. But no, I agree with you, Josh. It seems like those fans don't come out and get loud until we're good. Like the energy, everyone was in their seats before tip off that game 3. And the energy was just like, you literally felt like these two teams were about to do battle. And we were just all going to watch them kill each other, fight each other to the death is how it felt. But yeah, it feels like that we're not going to get that until the team is really good, but that's not growing a loyal diehard fan base. That's a bandwagon fair weather fan base.
Exactly. Cause like it pisses me off. The moment I hear a "Let's go Heat" damn chant in the Amway, and that's probably why I despise the Amway Center and I really miss the Amway Arena. Is that, yeah, great. The Amway Center is this beautiful, big arena, but what for? And even Cole Anthony said it earlier in the season during one of our wins where he was like, well, they weren't as loud as like we wanted. Like, there's not as many people here that we want, but we'll make sure they start showing up. And there's really nothing being done to like really move the needle on that fact. And that's why people keep looking down on the Magic organization as like they're just a joke of a franchise. And it's just really frustrating.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of talk for years about getting like a designated like diehard fan section at the games to try to help like generate that energy in the building. And the Magic, it sounds like they've toyed around with it a bit, but nothing's ever really caught traction. But if you just look at the way, like I know. I was just talking to our producer, Kevin, who used to live in Indiana, and we were talking about the Pacers Arena when it was still the Bankers Field House. If you look at it, now they've renovated it, and it's much different now. It's more similar to what the Magic have, but all of their seats literally used to be on top of the floor. Like at Amway, on each sideline, you have like 3 or 4 rows of seating, and then you have this like 20-foot gap of a walkway, and then you have more seats. At Bankers Fieldhouse, it used to be all of the rows were like on top of the floor. And for me, that's just more conducive to a energetic, basketball atmosphere. Yeah. But the reason that Amway has done that and built that walkway all the way around the court is for all of the fans who have those premium tickets that can go into the Ultimate Fields Lounge at any time during the game and go get something to eat, go have a few drinks, whatever they need to do. It's a convenience feature. All of the suites that they've built are for corporations to have, outings, team building exercises and things like that. They have things like the Bud Light baseline bar where people can go and stand and watch the game while the bar is right there so they can grab some drinks. All of these things are things that you do in mind of like the social experience. Like it's a social gathering. It's an event more than it's a basketball game. So the building itself was built with this kind of thinking in mind that this could more so be like a social experience than it is people coming for the product that's on the floor. And I think that is the main problem. The issue is the team is still making money. They're still profiting. As long as they're doing that, they're going to continue to do things the way that they are because they know once the product on the floor increases, other fans will come in to watch the games. I just think that's a fundamental problem. I don't think that's the way that you should build an arena. I don't think that's the way that you should try to draw fans in with the other attractions. Like the game, the team should always be the number one focus, be the number one attraction. That's why people should be there. And you just see way too many people sitting there. The game against the Bulls is a perfect example. I paid, a good amount of money for floor seats. I wanted to be there for Vooch's return. And I can't tell you how many people I'm just looking around and everyone's sitting on their phone. And I'm like, you guys paid all this money for these seats and you're sitting here on your phone. It's crazy. I could go on and on and on about it.
Yeah. And just like right before we move on to like the next thing, it's watching like the highlight videos of like Minnesota with Anthony Edwards in transition. You could see like the whole like energy of the arena in Minnesota gathering, or Sacramento, who aren't these greatest teams, but their fan base is so electric. De'Aaron Fox going coast to coast and the arena's loud. And we just don't have that.
There's a reason why I feel sorry.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I feel like there's a reason why, because I'm weird like this. Like sometimes I kind of see the attendance record for different teams. And when I see Minnesota's in Sacramento's lower than ours, but yeah, at times they make more noise than us. It's because those are the loyal ones who show up. They may have less people, but those are the loyal ones who actually show up for their team. So when big plays happen, they're on their feet, like standing and cheering. For us, when big plays happen, it's like no one gets up, and because those are the fake fans.
I think what kind of buoys those numbers is the tourism that you have in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like every game that I go to, there's like a group from Brazil of like 40 or 50 people up in the lower bowl. They're all like, and give them credit, they're cheering and, they're making noise, but they don't really care what team wins. They're in Orlando. They're here, to go to Disney, to shop at the outlets, things like that. And they're at the Magic game to have a good time. They don't necessarily care who wins. Although we do have a good fan base in Brazil of Orlando Magic fans, believe it or not. But I think the attendance numbers that you see out of the Magic that are better than, 7 or 8 teams in the league, it's buoyed by the tourism. It's not because we're getting, true fans. And I will disagree to a certain extent. I do think when there are highlight plays, there just is like a natural energy, it does elevate a little bit in the arena, but those aren't the only things that you should cheer for. You should be cheering for every good play that your team makes. And I don't think there's enough of that.
I 100% agree. And it's hopefully as a team, I don't even want to say as a team starts winning games, because at that point, it's not really.
It's going to be a while.
It's not really the fan base that I really want to, like, I don't want to say be a part of, but like, I would hope that the Magic would really have.
Well, what you see, whenever you have bandwagon fans, like you have the real fans, and when the team starts to have success, you're like, you're not allowed to appreciate this because you weren't here for the tough times. If you weren't there, what was that, March 25th or March 28th of this year, where we literally just tore it all down and we're like, all right, here we go again. If you weren't there, we don't want you at game 3. Like I understand that type of feeling. But yeah, that's why, it's really one of my life goals to just help expand this fan base, to try to like organically grow diehard fans, because like you talk, like Golden State, for instance. Golden State was just like terrible for years and years and years, but they still sold out every single game because until, Steph and, Clay and Draymond came and just transformed the history of that franchise. But I think before, 2015, I think it was like in the 70s, the last time the Warriors won a championship. But, even all throughout the 90s, the early 2000s, the early 2010s, those games were still packed. Fans were going crazy at the old Oracle Arena. I think it'll probably be a little bit different where the arena is now. But fans were still there every single night. And that's what I hope to one day have, at Magic games. Will that ever happen? I really don't know, but I hope at some point, the organization changes their mind in terms of, what at least it seems like they're what they value and kind of what their goal is.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's end on a little more positive note. I just really want to give a quick shout out to like all the young guys that have been playing extremely well. Franz, who has proven a lot of Magic fans wrong, who wanted Moody or Book Knight. Shout out to Wilhelm. They've done great. Franz, Jalen Suggs has been seemingly getting better as every single game's passed. Bamba is making his case that you shouldn't have counted me out so early. Wendell Carter looks a lot better than what I at least expected. Just what have you guys been most excited about from these young guys?
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, okay, thanks. I think like with Franz, I mean, I don't know if it was like the 6-man show that came up with Sweet Franz.
It was not. That was Cole. That was Cole.
It was Cole. That's a sweet nickname because, man, like, again, I didn't really know much about him when we drafted him. My mind was on Moody and Book Knight and those guys. But at the same time, I was like, okay, but we have so many guards. Where would we even put them? So then when we took Franz, I'm like, okay, let's give him a chance. Didn't play well in summer league, but I'm so glad to see that guy playing well. Man, we really needed someone like him on this team to just take the ball in his hands and just score the ball. He does so many little things, but it's the little things that count. You have a floater game. He has the Euro step game. He can do all of it. I'm extremely happy for him. Jalen Suggs has gotten better each game. He's been there defensively, and he's been improving that 3-point shot. Again, I have no doubt he'll come back better than before. So speedy recoveries to him. Again, with Cole Anthony, there's just not much to say about him. He's making his case for most improved player. Bamba's he's showing more energy plays. He's showing more mobility this season. I'm happy for him as well. Wendell Carter Jr. is much better than I expected he would be. He still at times commits careless fouls that he doesn't need to commit, but he's still like just getting better as a player. So I'm happy for him. RJ Hampton is my problem. I have a problem with RJ Hampton. He hasn't developed the 3-point shot. He hasn't developed the jump shot. Yes, he's good around the rim, but he barely does that. Yes, there is a lack of calls within the Magic, and we get that. But he has no go-to move. He's not really that much of a good playmaker unless we're down 30 and then we need something to come back. Then he gets those minutes. But other times, I want to see improvement within him. And I can't wait for Markelle and J.I. to show us what they've been working on as well.
So before I give Jonathan the floor here, I just want to say this about Hampton. Because I don't think Okeke been struggling, but
get him, Omar.
Okeke, get him. I just want to say this about Hampton.
Oh my God.
Listen, Josh. If me and you did this right before Gordon got traded, you're not going to disrespect this man's 3-point shooting number. Hampton has arguably
Aaron Gordon?
40% from RJ Hampton has shot. You did the same thing with Gordon. RJ Hampton is shooting 40% from three.
Aaron Gordon?
RJ Hampton. Josh,
he probably took like 1 or 2 a game. That's why.
2.6.
RJ Hampton has been arguably our best shooter. You Josh, did the same thing with Gordon.
You're wrong here, my dog.
RJ Hampton?
40% when we
RJ Hampton?
Yes, RJ.
Have y'all watched him play?
Joshua, you are wrong here, my guy.
You are wrong.
Okay, you know what? Those count. You know why those stats count? Because they've been in 30-point blowout losses.
So
when he gets the minutes.
Okay. All right.
But when we're into
all right. Okay. If you want to do this, let's also be fair here. RJ Hampton has also not been playing with the greatest units ever because of all of our injuries. Hampton's been being forced to play along with what we've had in recent history, play out of position, out of role. Same thing will happen with Evan Fournier, Vooch, Gordon.
You're not going to talk about Aaron Gordon right now.
RJ
he was
Hampton
the biggest
be a
Aaron
point
Gordon
guard.
fan you'd ever seen. And
RJ Hampton shouldn't be a point guard, but guess what? Here we are, forcing Hampton to play the point guard position.
Didn't he play point guard in Australia? Like, did I forget that?
This is what we're doing.
He played point guard in Australia. He should be able to play make with that ball. And when the moments count the most, he's not there. Yes, when we were down in Milwaukee, he got so many minutes. But when he gets minutes in close games, he does not make the most of them. That one game against the Jazz, he scored 8 in one quarter and locked down Donovan Mitchell. He didn't do anything the rest of the game. What did he do the other 3 quarters? Yeah, he showed up in one quarter.
RJ Hampton is not a point guard. And once he plays alongside Suggs consistently, alongside Cole consistently, alongside Markelle consistently,
then you should be going. Then you should be blaming Mosley. Do not blame me. Blame Mosley.
They're not available.
He's played with Suggs. He's played with Cole. He's played with Baum. He's played with Wendell and Franz.
That's cap because Hampton was being forced to play backup point guard for the majority to start this year.
He's a combo guard. He should be able to play both point guard and shooting.
He's a wing. He's a wing.
Yep. He's a wing. He's a wing when they really need. Okay. Right. His height does not matter when it comes to.
Okay.
You know
all right. So first of all, I'm with Omar. The 3-point shooting is much improved. 2.6 attempts a game. Moritz Wagner, who feels like he shoots the ball every single time he touches it. He's averaging 2.9 attempts per game. So just barely over RJ. Outside of that, RJ has really been a disappointment for me this year. I thought that he was going to be the better playmaker between him and Cole coming into the season based off of what we saw the last 20 games of last year. And I think, I kind of agree with Omar. I think he's going to be better suited off the ball as like a 2 or a 3, more so than like this combo guard that we hoped that he could be. He just doesn't really seem to have like the decisiveness. The ball handling could be tighter. He has, an issue with turnovers. He doesn't have a real go-to move, like you said. So I have been disappointed with RJ Hampton so far. I think when Markelle comes back, Jonathan Isaac comes back, Jalen Suggs comes back, we're going to be able to put, and, once we, probably trade Terrence Ross and, buy out Gary Harris, I don't see any scenario where you're able to trade Gary Harris at this point. Once all of that is in place, like after the All-Star break, and we get RJ into more of, what he's more suited for at this time, I think we'll see some better, signs out of RJ. But like Cole, I will 100% admit I did not see this coming out of Cole Anthony. I thought he was going to be like a career, like Lou Williams-esque type of player. I didn't even think he could be as good as Lou Williams. And he is just becoming this like scoring force who can do a little bit of playmaking. Defensively, like the effort is there, but I just don't ever see him being a great defender. Doesn't have like elite lateral quickness, doesn't have elite size. So I think he's always going to struggle on that end of the floor. That being said, for his size, he's an elite rebounder as a guard, able to just grab the ball off the rim and get the team going in the other direction. And then like we saw it tonight, like in crunch time, when you need a bucket, the kid has just done it again and again and again this year. And I just didn't see it coming this year. He's been incredible. I'm glad that I was wrong about, what his potential was this season. I really think this is a kid that could become an all-star someday. Will he? I don't know. I feel like it's still early to say that. But he just has been a revelation this year. Franz Wagner, Omar, we were both there at Amway when he was drafted, and everyone was so excited for Jalen. And then it was like, Franz Wagner, what? We drafted Franz Wagner at 8. But I have never in my life been so pleasantly surprised. Yeah. I said it even in Summer League. He's doing all the things right. The shots were just not falling.
And they were just short.
Yeah. Now that the shots are falling, like the kid, I don't know. Like we haven't seen anybody that has just shut the kid down. Like he's had some, poor shooting nights, but nobody has like just stifled him defensively just yet. Will that come when he, goes up against like a Paul George or, a Kawhi Leonard or somebody like that? Maybe it will. But when I see this kid going right at Jared Allen right at Rudy Gobert, right at, Nikola Jokic, like some of the bigger guys in the league, Embiid, and like finishing over these guys again and again. It's like when is the other shoe going to drop for Franz? When is he going to come kind of back down to earth? And he has come back down to earth a little bit. He was shooting like 43% from three at the beginning of the year. Now he's shooting, 36%. I think he'll probably end up like a 38% three-point shooter this year, which is really, really good for a rookie. Franz is the guy right now. If I had to pick anybody on the roster, 4 or 5 years from now that I say that kid like will definitely be an all-star, like to me, it's Cole or it's Franz. Like the fact that some of these NBA rookie ladders still have Josh Giddey above Franz Wagner, I get it. I get why you're so enamored with Josh Giddey, but it just tells me you're not watching enough Franz Wagner. Like the kid has just been incredible. The playmaking, the passes, like he had a beautiful pocket pass to Wendell tonight. He's got usually at least one or two of those a game. He's just ridiculous. And then Jalen, it sucks that he's getting hurt because it does feel like he was just starting to kind of turn the corner. I wouldn't say he turned the corner, but like he could see the corner and was coming right up on it. But yeah, Joel Embiid is a huge freaking person with meat hooks for hands. Like I would love to see that, like what kind of angle he hit Jalen's hand at. But the weirdest thing to me, I know we haven't really talked about Mosley too much, but people are having issues with teams going on these like 13-0, 15-0 runs, and Mosley not calling a timeout like when it's been like a 7 or 8-0 run. The other night, Jalen gets hurt, immediately doubles over, is running down the floor, holding his hand, again, doubled over in pain. Franz Wagner inbounds the ball. Jalen refuses to dribble and bring the ball up court, throws it to Franz, runs down the other end, and is literally doubled over holding his hand. Mosley doesn't call a timeout. Franz scores, and then Doc Rivers calls a timeout. That's the only reason that Jalen was able to come out of the game. Like, how can you not notice that a guy is so clearly not able to play in the moment, is in an incredible amount of pain? Like, you just call a timeout and you get him out of the game at that point. You don't want to risk further injury or anything like that. So, like, that's just been really weird. But I'm still all in on Jalen. Like, anybody that's selling their Jalen Suggs stock, bring it to me. People talk about how he might not be like this superstar player. Regardless, I just don't know how you say that right now. Like, the shooting stroke looks incredible. It looks very smooth. It's not erratic or all over the place. Usually he misses, like it's either in and out, it's short, or it's long. He's had a few bad misses this season, air balls to the left or to the right. But for the most part, when he's set and he's in rhythm, the shot looks great. He's getting to the rim basically at will. He has been missing a lot of easy ones, but the last time that I checked, this was like 3 or 4 games ago. It could be a little bit different now. But his and Cole's percentage finishing at the rim were within like 2 percentage points of each other. So people that are ragging on his ability to finish at the rim, like Cole's pretty good, and Jalen's right there with him. So his ability to get to the free throw line as a rookie is incredible as well. I just see a lot of good things out of Jalen Suggs. He makes passes that some guys just are not able to make. It all comes down to his decision making, and he has to tighten the handle. He does those 2 things, and I think the sky is the limit for him. Wendell has been great. I know I'm going on and on here. Mo Bamba's been great. We're seeing, what we thought Mo was capable of. I still think he has another level to get to once he really figures things out. But if you told me last year at the end of the year that this was the Mo Bamba we were going to get, we'd all be ecstatic to hear that. So, I thought the Wendell Carter extension was early. When the deal was made, it's turning out to be a great deal for us. It's going to be like $12.5 million a year for the next 4 years. But my thing was like, I just think it's too early to make the decision between Wendell and Mo Bamba. And now I think it's a legitimate conversation. Like, I still think Wendell is the better player, but I don't think Mo is that far behind. Like, we just saw him the other night, 6 blocks. He's had a couple like 16, 17, 18 rebound games this year. He's not shooting the ball as well as he was early in the year. He was a guy that was over 40%. He's kind of come back to earth to 32%. For a guy that's that tall he just seems to shoot the ball like directly at the basket. Like there's almost no arc to his shot, which is really weird to me. He just starts shooting like a Dirk Nowitzki, not necessarily the same form, but puts a little bit more arc on the ball. First of all, it's never getting blocked in the history of humanity. And I think, he's going to have less issues with some of the misses that he's had. But I mean, we're seeing a lot of promising signs out of the young guy so far to start this season. I cannot wait to see this team fully healthy with Markelle and J.I., but it just seems like every time we start to get healthy, somebody else starts to get hurt. So I'm having my doubts that will happen. But if and hopefully when that does, as Jeff Weltman would say, it will be a very exciting day to be a Magic fan.
Yeah, that's completely right. I think the Mo Bamba versus Wendell Carter is very, very interesting, simply because we always knew Wendell Carter was the better player at the moment, but Mo had the higher ceiling.
Yeah.
And now Bamba's inching closer to the floor of Wendell. And because Wendell was also on a hot shooting streak with 3-point. That's coming down to earth as well. So I really want to see if Mo can bounce back. Maybe I don't want to say tweak his shot because he was known as being a good shooter, especially for the center spot. Get back to what he usually is around 35, 36% from three and continue his defensive play and clean that up more. And I feel like he has another offseason to build his body up more to handle the contact of playing the center position full time, other than having Wendell take the more physical spot, then maybe we could actually have a conversation. Well, maybe Bamba is the answer going forward. And when it comes to Mosley, yeah, I think it's also looking at just like another rookie on the floor. I don't know if he saw the injury when it first happened, but I agree. I think he should call the timeout. When it comes to the rotations, there's only been two things I really have an issue with Mose. I don't really have an issue with his closing lineups, whether he chooses to play not play Chuma down the stretch, which I know that was a lot controversial idea of whether or not he closed the game out with neither when he didn't close the game with Wendell. I leave it up to Mose. It is what it is. My issue is more of canceling the run early. When it's a 7-9-0 run, don't let it build up to 15-18-0 run when then the game gets out of hand. And it's also that beginning of the fourth quarter into the third where Brazdeikis or Mulder hasn't played all game, but yet you throw him in. That's just my only two issues with Mosley thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I think with when I see Iggy Brazdeikis touch the floor, I'm like, yo, what? Are there more injuries we don't know about that just happened during the game? I mean, Mo Wagner, I can at least say he's a little productive on the floor. He has the 3-point shot, so he does do more than Brazdeikis, but man, he just puts in Iggy at the worst time. But besides Iggy, I didn't mention Chuma Okeke. He's been struggling. I don't think it's rust anymore. I think something's just going on. That 3-point shot is gone. And he's always had that same form. So it's not like the form changed. Something's going on with his game. He doesn't, I see him still trying to finish around the rim, which is something he did a lot last year, which he was efficient at. Just hasn't translated this year. And I know he didn't really get a training camp because he got injured right before it. But I really want to see him improve because I don't know if it's possible for him to get a starting position again just because of the way Franz is playing. But he can definitely still have a future on this team. He can be the backup, but still have a big role because we saw last year, he didn't need to put up 20-point games to make an impact on this team. I don't know if you guys remember about that game against the Warriors. I think that was his breakout game. And he only scored 11 points, but he played great defense. He was able to hit shots and do all the little things. So he doesn't really need the starting position to make a big impact on this team. But I just want to see him get back to that level of play from last year, even though I do understand he came back from an injury. But at this point, it can't be rust because you've been back for a while now. So I just want to see him improve.
Yeah. Chuma's been staying up too late watching Naruto. That's probably what it's been.
No cap. All right, so real quick on Chuma. I think I need to take a closer look at this. I think something that Steve Clifford really did a good job as a coach was limiting rookies to their roles, and specifically with Chuma is letting him play the four. Because when I was really watching him defensively, he hasn't been that great this year, especially towards last year. But he handled Aaron Gordon decently well tonight. So I need to look closer to see whether it was where he's struggling to play as a small forward now, if that's what he's playing in these games now, or whether he's actually struggling at the power forward spot, where he played his rookie year. That's just something that, because I just don't understand, because Chuma, For whatever reason, his post-up game is stolen. That's the one thing that stayed consistent. I just don't understand how the three-point shot and the defense is going to fall off this drastic.
And he's got a lot of open threes too. I've been watching the games. He gets a lot of open shots, and he just hasn't been able to converge on those. So yeah, something's going up, but I hope he improves. I'm not falling off his like hype or anything. I just want him to improve. And we all got hyped from that song last year, the one we all love, but I can't pronounce the name for some reason. Anomalous. Yeah, Anomalous. But but yeah, I'm still riding with him. So I just hope he gets better.
Yeah, the shooting, has dropped, last year almost 35%, this year 22% from the 3-point line. Defensively, I really think he's been fine. Like you said, he did a good job on Aaron Gordon tonight, but Aaron Gordon, can have a bad game all by himself. He doesn't really necessarily need, good defenders, to kind of bail him out in that regard. But yeah, Chuma still has had some, good defensive performances. We saw it earlier in the year. The Minnesota game, like against Karl Anthony Towns, has had some, instances being switched on to guys like Embiid and, has done pretty well. I don't know what it is with Chuma. I think him playing in the lineups that he's been in really hasn't helped. Last year he was, mainly playing with, guys like Markelle, first few years of the season or first few games of the season. Chuma was out the beginning of the year, but more, guys like Evan Fournier and, Cole Anthony, guys who are a little bit more adept at playmaking right now, playing with Terrence Ross and RJ Hampton, not really doing him any favors. We're not seeing him really be like a focal part of the offense either, like we did like the last 20 or so games last year. So I think it's definitely fair to be concerned about Chuma. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. I'm not hitting the panic button on anyone until like February. Like if February, Jonathan Isaac's back, Markelle Fultz is back. Jalen Suggs should be. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Come on.
Jalen Suggs, when these guys are back, because they will be back. God, I hope. I'm not even Catholic. I don't know why I'm doing that. But yeah, God, please. We really need those guys back. If things are still bad, like in February when everyone's back and, the rotation is what it should be, and we don't see any Michael Mulders or Ignas Brazdeikis, Gary Harris, should be long gone. At that point, then we can start to panic.
Yeah, I don't want to press any panic button until the roster is fully healthy and they actually should be playing with the guards they should be playing with. All right, and right before we wrap this up, let's talk some Naruto. Jonathan,
Naruto.
So you said episode 331, right? Episode 331.
I think Shippuden, I'm on episode. I think it's 337. I'm on
337. So
I believe so.
So I need to know what the reaction was on Naruto finally giving that fist bump to Kurama. What was that reaction?
That was dope. I didn't expect him. Like the thing about Naruto, and Josh is eventually going to watch it regardless of what he thinks. So I don't want to spoil too much for him. But the thing about Naruto, and so last night I finally got my wife to sit down and watch like the very first 2 episodes of Naruto. And first of all, I just didn't really realize how silly the show was early on. Obviously, as the characters have grown and, the stakes have risen, it's become more serious. But like Naruto does such a good job of just like continuing to raise the stakes. So this whole time, this guy who we thought was Madara Uchiha, who we thought was, we now know it wasn't. And when Madara actually shows up and is like fighting the 5 Kage right now, like the stakes of the show have just like completely changed. Like it's gone from like a slapbox fight to like an actual fight to now it's like gods like fighting on the battlefield. When you see like all of the different skills that some of these characters have, and to see, you asked about Naruto and Kurama finally like fist bumping and Naruto just going like complete god mode. I haven't gotten too much into that battle. Where I'm at right now, it's like Itachi and Sasuke versus Kabuto. It's Madara Uchiha versus the 5 Kage, and then it's Naruto versus and Killer B versus like the other Jinchuriki and the other Madara, who I think is Toby or whoever it is. I don't know exactly who that is just yet. I have a theory.
I want a guess who you think it is.
So I think it's oh my gosh. I think his name is Obito. Don't tell me if that's who it is, but the reason that I think it is him is because I think it was revealed at one point that he lived and Kakashi took one of his eyes. And it's Kakashi's left eye, and the only Sharingan eye that we've seen from Toby or Madara is the right eye. And now in the other eye, he's got the Rinnegan. So I don't know. That's my theory. It could be totally wrong. I might have seen a spoiler somewhere. It's so hard because the show's been out for so long.
Yeah.
Anywhere I look, anything Naruto, something gets spoiled for me at one point or another. But so the battle that you're talking about, I haven't seen too much of it. Like it really just started. But like the thing that I love about Naruto is that you can hate him all you want at the beginning. And Josh, you can hate the show as much as you want at the beginning.
Oh, Josh is making a promise before we leave here today.
He grows on everyone. Like you just see this over and over and again with these different characters.
Well, Naruto, the little kid who always screams and is annoying.
He starts that way.
What's that code phrase he always says?
Believe it.
Oh my Lord.
Hold on.
Believe it.
He stopped saying that.
Have you ever actually
stop saying that?
Have you actually
Yeah. So I've watched the first few episodes. And I'm not gonna say it's
promise
bad.
me this. Promise me you'll get through the first wave arc, the Land of Waves arc, and if you don't like it, you can stop. But promise me
what arc? The what arc?
The Land of
the
Waves.
fact that I don't know. You're talking about the first season.
It's like episode 1 through 20. Get through those first 20, and if you don't like it, you can stop. But promise
I got to like episode 8.
You see, no.
Yeah.
It's when him, that girl, and that guy, they're escorting that old man and somebody's
That's the beginning of what Omar is talking about.
Just get through that piece and you'll be hooked.
You if you get through that story arc, first of all, to ask anyone to watch 20 episodes of anything is insane. Like if you don't at least start to like it by like episode 10, like if you're not like I mean, I guess it's okay. Like if you completely hate it after 10 episodes, if you think it's okay after 8 episodes, you have to finish that arc that Omar is talking about. Like the show just like I grew up a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Like I love Dragon Ball Z, but the show
all these
just
cartoons you guys watch, eh?
It's called anime. Don't be disrespectful.
Exactly.
We've talked about this.
You were gonna say it.
Don't be disrespectful. This isn't Scooby-Doo we're watching. Okay. This is anime. But like the show just does such a great job with character development, with storytelling, with like always raising the stakes of what's happening. Like it might be my favorite show of all time. And I haven't finished it yet. It is literally that good. There are so many characters. You fall in love with all of the characters. You hate them at first, then you end up loving them and rooting for them. Like the show does such a great job of character development and like redeeming characters. Like it's one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. I love it.
Personally, for me, it's at number 3.
What's number 1 and number 2?
It's more anime shows.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So your favorite 3 shows are all anime. I'm not asking about your favorite anime. I'm talking about your favorite shows ever.
I was because that's what I watched as a kid too.
This man is a certified weeb.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So right before we wrap up, I need to ask the question.
No, you didn't answer my question. What are your?
All right. So my number 1 anime show period of all time is Zeta Gundam. It completely falls through the mecha genre of anime.
I love Gundam, so I'm definitely down to check that out. I love Gundam. I loved Gundam as a kid. I forget which Gundam it was. This is when I was like 9 or 10 years old. My pet fish, I named him after a Gundam character. Yeah. I gotta find. I don't remember the name, but yeah.
It's only 50 episodes, but in order to understand that, you have to watch the first show. It's also 50, but on Netflix, it's broken down to 3 short movies. So you can take that route if you want. But yeah, that's definitely number 1. I adore it. So right before we wrap this up, how many times did you get emotional through the Naruto ride?
Oh my God.
Let's use the word cry. How many times did you cry? Have you cried?
Man, I don't know about cry. The one time that I did cry was when Naruto meets his mother. Like when they went through that entire thing, like I could not help myself but cry. But
so he
like,
meets his mom.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, he does. He meets his mom. He meets his, like, that whole thing. Like, that was just so beautiful. The way that they did that. I could not help. I cried like a baby watching that. Apart from that, Josh, I'm going to need you to like take out the AirPods for like 15 seconds here. Just take the AirPods out. I'll give you, when I thought Kakashi died, I was so pissed about that. Like, season 5, when Naruto is fighting Kimimaro and Kimimaro is about to kill him and Rock Lee comes out of nowhere and saves Naruto. I've only screamed like that during Magic games. Like, I was so hyped about that. And then at the end of season 5, Naruto versus Sasuke, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this. When Naruto looks at Sasuke and says, "I will break every bone in your body and drag you back to the hidden leaf if that's what it takes to save you." When he said that, dude, I was like, this is the greatest effing show of all time. You're good. You can bring your ears back.
I just want to say, if I continue Naruto, you guys got to give the Flash a chance.
I have given the Flash a chance and it sucks. I watched like 15
You're saying that
episodes.
Right now.
I watched
and
like
you expect me to continue
Naruto. But I've actually tried. You've got 8. I watched 15 episodes of The Flash. Something about the CW shows, like the Arrow, I could not get into those. I thought the acting
you watched
was
season
horrible.
1 of Flash and didn't like it?
I maybe it wasn't 15 episodes. It was somewhere like 10 to 15 episodes that I watched of The Flash.
Those were like amazing.
I could not get into it. I tried. I promise you I tried.
So you watched 15 episodes and gave up? And you want me to continue Naruto?
Yeah, because you stopped like right before it got good. You watched 8 episodes.
How do you watch the build up, but you don't watch the first one?
Naruto episodes are like 20 minutes.
All right.
Aren't the Flash episodes like 30 or 40 minutes long?
They're like 40.
Yeah, I mean it's much better, at least some would say. But okay, fine. I continue Naruto. You got to give Superman and Lois a chance. It's really good. A really big show. You might.
I have like 170 more episodes of Naruto to get through. I don't know that I'll be finished with Naruto by the time the Magic season ends. And I already have like 5 anime that I want to watch. Like Superman and Lois is so far down the list. I've got to add this.
It's a
Gundam
really
show.
Good family show. You got to watch it with the family.
And Jonathan, I'm just going to let you know, Jonathan, the moment you finish Shippuden, that urge to start Boruto is going to kick.
Oh, of course. I know that. But I've heard different things about Boruto. Like some people say it's like really good. Some people say it's bad. I've heard it's just now starting to get good. So I don't know. I don't want to say
an anime convention or something.
I'm not going to look at
fanboys.
I'm going to close my eyes when I say this because I don't want to see Omar's response. But my whole thing is if Sasuke is not redeemable, I'm going to be so pissed about the show. I don't want to see Omar's response right now, so I'm not looking at
it. In season 1, he is a traitor then.
It's not season 1. It's not season.
But he does become it because we get vibes in season 1.
I wouldn't even use that word, but
but in season 1, you can definitely feel that he's
you'll watch it, find out. You'll watch it, find out.
You can tell that Sasuke has like a dark streak in him. You can tell that. But if Naruto is not able to save his friend from everything that's happening, I will be absolutely heartbroken. I will be so mad at that show that I watched 700 freaking episodes of it and didn't get what I want. So I don't want to know what happens. I'm not even gonna be able to
sit through the same 700. So why are you laughing?
I'm not gonna even look at the YouTube comments on this or anything like that because people are gonna ruin it for me in the comments. But after, so I'm gonna add Gundam to the list. You didn't tell me what's your second favorite show.
It's another Gundam show, but I would either say because Naruto it's strictly at 3, but I flip flop between Gundam Unicorn, and Gundam Seed.
Okay.
Those flip flop between 2 and 4. So
after I watch Naruto, I might go into Boruto, but if I don't, I really want to watch Demon Slayer. I've heard a lot of great things about that.
Really good.
I want to try Attack on Titan. I want to try My Hero Academia. I want to try that as well. So there's like 3 or 4 anime that I want to watch after I watch, Naruto and maybe Boruto, and then maybe
my show recommendations
sometime down the line, maybe I'll get to Superman and Lois. Maybe sometime.
No, you're just.
If I would also say, just to add one more show to that recommendation. I would say
add another one.
I would say you completely missed the opportunity.
I'll definitely watch both those Gundam shows for. Just kidding.
Because of the movie
disrespect
that came out in theater, I feel like that was a missed opportunity for you to be able to watch the movie in theater. But Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'm about to watch soon, I heard is really good. Also has a movie coming out. And
what I'm really happy about with anime is that Naruto is one of the longest ones. So if I can get through Naruto, these other ones that are like 20, 30 episodes, I know I'll be able to get through those no problem. Yeah. So
y'all should create a podcast for the Naruto, man. Y'all clearly have some passion for this, man.
I think the three of us should make a Naruto episode. Me and Omar can talk about it, and you can just sit here and cry about it.
If there's one day in this century where I catch up. Okay, the only thing I'll say about Superman and Lois is that it's a family show. So your family could really
The number one family show that everyone should watch is Boy Meets World. That is my favorite.
Okay.
That's my favorite show of all time.
I will agree with you on that.
Naruto is, I'm telling you though, Naruto is coming for Boy Meets World. That's my favorite show of all time.
How much convincing did it take your wife to watch Naruto?
I'm not going to get into the details, but I had to get on my knees and beg.
So she didn't want to watch it.
Definitely didn't want to watch it.
But did she like it?
First episode, she's like, it's like 50-50. I told her, I was like, if you can get through 10 episodes, if you still hate it, then you're not going to like it. But 10 episodes in, if you're hooked, like the show just gets better and better and better. Like people try to tell me that Shippuden was better than Naruto. And I was like, I don't know that anything will ever top season 5 of Naruto for me. But Shippuden as a whole is better than Naruto. Like Naruto for me has the higher peak. But like Naruto is like higher peak. Naruto right now is Mo Bamba. Shippuden is Wendell Carter. Like Mo's got the highest peak, but Shippuden, you just know every single night you're getting 13.9 rebounds every single night.
Really compare that to Wendell and Mo Bamba.
That's all I know. I know Naruto and I know the Orlando Magic. Exactly. Don't ask me about anything else. Maybe the New York Giants, but I don't know anything else outside of that. That's all the knowledge that I have in my brain. So
I'm guessing you didn't watch Girl Meets World. I mean,
I tried. Good, I couldn't get. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm. All right. Right before I close out, top 3 Akatsuki members.
Top 3 Akatsuki members. Itachi is my guy.
Yes.
Itachi is the number one. Like if we're talking about number one picks, like Itachi is LeBron James. Everyone else is going to be like Anthony Bennett. Another. I mean, does Pain count?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Pain is number 2. Everyone else I freaking hate.
What?
Everyone else I hate. I'm trying to think. Gosh. I hate Deidara.
I love it.
I hate Deidara. I hate him.
The Toby Deidara combo.
I'll say Toby. I'll say Toby number 3.
Okay.
Because I just hate everybody else. I don't remember all of their names either. Because
you didn't like Conan?
Which one?
Conan.
Which one was Kona?
That was like Payne's partner.
Payne's partner.
The one I was able to turn into paper.
Oh, the girl?
Yeah, the girl.
Yeah, she was cool. The other guy that was kind of cool and I found really funny, I forget his name, but the guy with the scythe with like the blood ritual.
Hedon? Yeah.
Hedon, that's right. Yeah, he was awesome. Deidara and Sasori. I just couldn't.
You don't like art. You don't like art. That's fine.
I don't like what?
You don't like art.
I don't like art. Yeah, exactly. Those guys would always argue about that. So, I could not stand those guys. I just find them so annoying. I really have an issue with villains that just will not go away, like Kabuto. I cannot stand Kabuto. Yeah, Orochimaru. I could not stand Orochimaru. And I know I was scrolling through the list of the episodes. There's the name of the episode that's coming up in like 4 or 5 episodes from where I'm at right now. And it says Orochimaru returns or something like that. And if Orochimaru comes back, I might kill myself. I really might. Cause I cannot, I hate them so much. I was so happy when Sasuke did what he did. Top 3 Akatsuki members, Itachi, Why am I losing this
Pain.
already?
You said Pain.
Itachi, Payne, and Toby. Those are my three favorite Akatsuki members.
Alrighty, that's gonna wrap it up here. It's a very long episode. Thank you both for being on so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Maybe an anime podcast coming soon. We'll see. See you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.